They said you wouldn't make it. They whispered behind closed doors, laughed when you fell, and doubted that anything divine could ever come out of your story. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still chosen. This message is not for the crowd. It's not for those who walked away, nor for those who judged you while you were still being formed in the fire. This word is for you, the one God handpicked when no one else could see the value in your pain. You've been through seasons that stripped you bare. You've lost things that once defined you. You've walked through rejection so sharp, it pierced your confidence. Yet somehow deep within you knew this couldn't be the end. You knew there had to be a reason behind the rejection, a purpose hidden inside every closed door. Heaven is speaking now. They counted you out, but God counts you in. What they dismissed, God is about to display. What they threw away, heaven is about to elevate. What was meant to bury you is about to become the ground from which you rise. This isn't just motivation, this is prophecy. God is declaring that the very areas of your life that were rejected, the very people who overlooked you, and the very moments that broke you, all of it is being rewritten by divine design. The time of being hidden was not punishment. It was preparation. You see, when people count you out, they're counting based on what they can see. But when God counts you in, He's counting based on what He placed inside you before the world ever knew your name. You're not forgotten. You're not behind. You're not late. You're right on divine schedule. The tables are turning. The last will become first. The overlooked will be the overcomers. And soon, very soon, those who once questioned you will have to witness what heaven has confirmed about you all along. But before the manifestation comes the message. Before the elevation comes the awakening. So stay close, because in the next few moments, heaven will reveal why they had to count you out and how God is about to count you in for something far greater than you imagined. This is your moment. This is your confirmation. Let the revelation begin. Because heaven saw every silent battle you fought when no one was watching. Every tear that never touched the ground, every prayer whispered into darkness, none of it went unheard. There were moments when you thought the silence meant absence. When you wondered if God had stepped away, if maybe your name had been erased from His plan. But even in those quiet, lonely hours, heaven was writing your redemption story line by line. The Spirit of God says, you were not forgotten. You were hidden. Hidden not to be denied, but to be developed. Hidden because your calling required isolation before exposure. Hidden because your preparation had to happen away from public opinion. When you were crying out for visibility, God was covering you for protection. When you were asking for validation, God was giving you revelation. And when you were ready to settle for less, heaven was saying, wait, there's more. There is a reason the rejection had to come before the recognition. Because had they accepted you too soon, they would have tried to own what they did not anoint. The anointing on your life could not be managed by those who misread your value. They thought they were closing you out, but they were really clearing the stage for your divine entrance. The one who created you, the Alpha and the Omega, has not changed His mind about you. He doesn't revise His plans when people misunderstand your process. He doesn't withdraw His promises because others walked away. He doesn't cancel the covenant just because the crowd changed. Right now, heaven is shifting the narrative. You've been through the silence, the stripping, the separation. But now there's movement. You can feel it in your spirit. It's subtle, but it's steady. The atmosphere around you is beginning to respond to what's happening within you. The hand of God is resting upon your name again. Doors that once denied you are remembering you. People who once ignored you are being prompted to speak your name in rooms you've never entered. You don't need to force this. You don't need to prove anything. When heaven decides it's your time, every delay turns into divine timing. Listen, what's about to unfold in your life was written before you even arrived. You're stepping into the pages of prophecy. The next chapter is not about who left, who doubted, or who stayed silent. It's about the one who chose you before they ever knew you. So breathe. The rejection wasn't the end, it was the redirection. The silence wasn't abandonment, it was alignment. And the waiting wasn't wasted, it was the womb of transformation. What's about to emerge from your story carries the fingerprints of God. And soon the world will see what heaven already decided you were always counted in. There is a stirring in the unseen, a divine orchestration that's been unfolding beneath the surface of your struggle. For months, maybe even years, you've been living in what felt like contradiction, called but concealed, anointed but overlooked, gifted but grounded in silence. Yet now heaven is whispering that the balance is shifting. The time for quiet endurance is giving way to visible elevation. The prophecy is this: God is about to publicly count you in where life once counted you out. Every place you were denied will become a place of recognition. Every voice that said you're not enough will fall silent in awe as God's favor rewrites the narrative. The seasons of being passed over are ending because the divine appointment you were born for is calling your name. You've been through what others couldn't handle. You've endured storms meant to scatter you. You've stood in the fire long enough that what once burned now refines. Heaven has tested your faith not to break you, but to prove that your endurance was not ordinary. There's something about your persistence that has drawn the attention of heaven. Listen closely, this isn't random. There's a reason the timing seemed delayed. God was aligning every detail, positioning every person, and refining your character, so that when the spotlight comes, you won't crumble beneath the weight of favor. This next level isn't for display, it's for divine purpose. You've been praying for breakthrough, but God has been preparing you to become the breakthrough. That's the revelation most people miss. You were never meant to chase opportunities, you were meant to become one. Every lesson, every heartbreak, every quiet night was building the spiritual authority you now carry. And the shift has already begun. The atmosphere around you is changing. Opportunities that were locked are loosening. Connections that were dormant are awakening. Even the ground beneath your feet is being renewed for your next step. Heaven is declaring, "What I have counted in no one can cancel." Your name is being spoken in realms you've never seen. Your presence is being requested in spaces that once refused you. There are divine alignments unfolding that will make sense only in hindsight, because this is not man's doing. This is heaven's agenda in motion. But the prophecy goes deeper. God says, "I am not just restoring what you lost. I am redeeming the years you thought were wasted. Those silent years, those hidden seasons, the times when it seemed nothing was moving. They were not barren. They were seeds underground. And those seeds are about to break the soil. You are stepping into a divine reversal. The same places where you faced humiliation will become platforms of honor. The same people who once pitied you will be witnesses to your rising. The same voice that once cried out in secret will soon declare in public, "God did this." But remember, this prophecy is not only about being seen, it's about being sent. God is counting you in not for fame, but for function. You are being placed where your presence carries purpose. You are being sent into rooms where your light will confront darkness. You are being lifted not for applause, but for assignment. The shift you're feeling is not a coincidence, it's a commissioning. Heaven is releasing you into alignment with destiny. And soon, when the fulfillment comes, you'll realize something profound. They didn't count you out by mistake. They counted you out by design. Because God needed the world to underestimate you, so that when He revealed you, no one could deny it was divine. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your unveiling. Stay alert, stay grounded, because the prophecy has been activated, and what God has counted in cannot be reversed. When heaven counts you in, it's never just about visibility, it's about identity. What's unfolding in your life isn't random favor, it's divine recognition. You are not being chosen again, you are being revealed for who you have always been. Rejection wasn't the enemy of your purpose, it was the guardian of it. God allowed certain doors to close, not to punish you, but to protect what was sacred. Because not every opportunity is divine, and not every platform is safe. Some rooms could not carry your anointing. Some connections could not hold your destiny. So when they turned you away, heaven whispered, "Not here, not yet." This is the sacred paradox of divine timing, that sometimes the road to revelation is paved with isolation. You were not being delayed, you were being developed, like a seed buried in the dark, unseen yet growing. And when the time comes, the soil that once hid you will testify that you were alive all along. Think about it, every storm that came against you was secretly shaping you. Every loss was teaching you to listen for the voice of God instead of the noise of people. Every heartbreak was refining your compassion, your discernment, your strength. This is what it means to be counted in by heaven, to walk through rejection and still remain soft enough to love, humble enough to serve, and faithful enough to keep believing. You see, the kingdom of God doesn't measure success the way the world does. Down here, they count achievements, applause, and approval. But in heaven's economy, God counts character, surrender, and obedience. While they were counting followers, heaven was counting your faith. While they were counting your failures, heaven was counting your tears. And while they were counting you out, God was counting every step that brought you closer to His will. There's a divine mathematics at work, one the world doesn't understand. Because when they subtract you, God multiplies you. When they divide against you, God adds favor to your name. And when the sum of your life doesn't seem to balance, God introduces grace, the factor that changes everything. Every no you received carried a hidden yes from heaven. Every delay disguised a preparation. Every betrayal became an ingredient in your breakthrough. This is the mystery of divine orchestration, that God uses even opposition as direction. The storm didn't destroy you. It redirected you toward the shore of destiny. The deeper truth behind this prophecy is this: you were never meant to fit in, because you were designed to stand out. The rejection was confirmation that you carry something rare. You were not created to blend into the crowd. You were born to shift atmospheres. That's why certain people couldn't understand you. Your frequency was too high for their comfort. And even when you felt unqualified, heaven saw readiness. Even when you doubted your own worth, heaven saw completion. Even when you thought it was over, heaven whispered, "Now begins the unveiling." You've been living in what I call the divine in-between, that sacred space between prophecy and fulfillment, between promise and manifestation. It's a place of tension, yes, but also of transformation. Because the waiting room of destiny is where faith matures, pride dissolves, and obedience deepens. The storms weren't just tests, they were teachers. The silence wasn't punishment, it was training. And the hiddenness wasn't failure, it was foundation. So when God says, "I'm counting you in," it's not a sudden decision. It's the unveiling of what has always been written. You are stepping into alignment with the version of you heaven always knew existed. And here's the beautiful irony: those who counted you out played their role perfectly. Their disbelief became the backdrop for God's display. Their dismissal made room for divine distinction. Had they embraced you, they might have taken credit for your rise. But now, no one can claim the glory but God. Your story is a living parable of grace. You were buried, but not dead. Rejected, but not forgotten. Hidden, but now revealed. This is not just about vindication. It's about transformation. Because being counted in isn't about God proving them wrong. It's about proving you right with Him. It's heaven saying, "This is who I said you were before the world tried to tell you otherwise." So lift your head not in pride, but in purpose. You've walked through the valley, and now you're being positioned for the mountaintop. You've been tested in secret. Now, you'll be trusted in public. You've been refined by rejection. Now, you'll be revealed by restoration. This is the meaning of the season you're in. This is why you were counted out, so that when God counts you in, no one will doubt that it was divine. As the prophecy begins to unfold, there will be signs, subtle sacred confirmations that whisper, "This is it." They won't always come wrapped in thunder or bright visions. Sometimes they'll arrive quietly in ways that feel almost ordinary, yet your spirit will know. The first sign will be divine remembrance. People who once forgot you will suddenly remember your name. A message, an opportunity, a favor. It may come from someone you thought was long gone. It won't be random. It will be heaven's way of showing you that your season of being overlooked has expired. The second sign will be divine alignment. Doors that once refused to open will swing wide without you forcing them. You'll find yourself in moments where everything just flows. The timing, the people, the resources. They'll seem to meet you at the exact point of readiness. You won't have to chase. What's meant for you will start chasing you. The third sign will be divine acceleration. What used to take months will happen in weeks. Delays will turn into divine speed. It'll feel as though time is making up for what you lost. You'll say to yourself, "It's all happening so fast," and it will be because you're stepping into a window of divine momentum. The fourth sign will be divine confirmation through peace. There will be chaos around you, distractions, noise, uncertainty, but inside you'll feel still. That's the mark of God's hand upon a new beginning. Peace will become your compass, not circumstances. You'll stop overthinking because your spirit will already know. This is what I prayed for. The fifth sign will be divine reversal. Something that seemed impossible will suddenly turn in your favor. A rejection will transform into an acceptance, a loss into a win, a dead end into a divine detour. It'll be as though heaven rearranged the script while no one was watching. And the sixth sign, perhaps the most powerful of all, will be divine resonance. You'll start hearing the same message everywhere in sermons, songs, conversations, even random encounters. It will feel like the whole universe is echoing one truth. You are being counted in. Don't dismiss these signs. They're not coincidences. They're confirmations. Each one is a thread in the tapestry of your destiny. You'll notice synchronicities, numbers repeating timing, aligning phrases showing up again and again. They're not to be feared, but followed. Heaven often speaks in patterns, not paragraphs. And when the signs start appearing, don't rush to announce them. Sit with them. Let them root in your spirit before you run to share them. The proof of divine movement is not just what happens around you, it's what awakens within you. The wind is changing direction. The signs will soon follow. Stay sensitive. Stay ready. Because when God begins to count you and everything around you begins to align with what He already decided about you. Before the promise manifests, the process will test you. Every elevation comes with a hidden refinement. And though the signs of breakthrough may appear, there's a sacred tension that follows a quiet resistance that tries to make you question what God already confirmed. This is where many lose heart, but not you. Because once heaven counts you in, the enemy tries one last time to convince you you're still disqualified. The first hidden challenge is the battle of perception. Suddenly it may look like nothing's changing. The doors that were supposed to open might seem delayed. The people who said yes may go silent. You'll wonder, did I hear God right? But remember, this is not regression, it's verification. God allows a moment of stillness before manifestation to prove that your faith is anchored in Him, not in outcomes. The second challenge will be spiritual fatigue. After carrying so much for so long, even hope can start to feel heavy. You'll feel the temptation to settle to accept less just because you're tired of waiting. But don't. That exhaustion is not a sign to quit. It's a sign that birth is near. Labor always intensifies right before delivery. The third challenge is emotional warfare. Old wounds might resurface, past fears may whisper again, and loneliness might try to creep back in. The closer you get to destiny, the louder the echoes of doubt become. It's not punishment, it's purification. God is bringing every fragment of your heart to the surface so that when He elevates you, you rise whole, not haunted. The fourth challenge will be isolation amidst increase, as favor begins to find you. Not everyone will celebrate it. Some will distance themselves, some will misunderstand you, and some will quietly compete with what they once supported. Don't take it personally. You are being separated again, not for rejection, but for redirection. The higher the call, the quieter the circle. The fifth challenge is the test of patience. There will be moments where everything seems half open. Opportunities that start but stall, promises that glimmer but don't yet glow. It's divine timing, holding your blessing steady until your spirit is steady enough to hold it. Remember this truth. Heaven never delays out of denial, only out of design. These challenges are not meant to break you. They're meant to build you. Every trial in this phase is sculpting your inner posture for what's coming next. You're not fighting for the promise, you're fighting to stay aligned while it arrives. And even when you feel the pressure closing in, understand pressure is proof that promise is near. Diamonds don't form in comfort, they form in compression. So when the nights feel long and the wait feels endless, don't interpret the silence as abandonment. Interpret it as divine focus. Because when God is quiet, He's crafting. When He seems distant, He's directing. And when you feel the most alone, heaven is closest. Hold steady. The storm that tried to break you is the same wind that will carry you. You're not losing ground, you're being lifted. Now that heaven has confirmed your season and revealed the unseen tests, the question becomes, what must you do now? Because prophecy doesn't fulfill itself. It requires participation. When God counts you in, He invites you to align with His movement. This is not a time to wait passively. It's a time to prepare actively. The first instruction is to remain rooted in humility. Elevation without humility becomes corruption. God is about to bring your name into rooms where pride cannot survive. Don't let visibility make you forget the voice that called you in the dark. Keep the same posture you had when no one was watching. That's what heaven honors. The oil that anointed you in private will sustain you in public, but only if you stay surrendered. The second instruction is to guard your atmosphere. Not everyone deserves access to your next chapter. Be wise about your circle. You cannot carry divine revelation among those who mock sacred things. Protect your peace. Choose environments that nurture your spirit, not drain it. Remember, the enemy doesn't always attack through strangers. Sometimes he speaks through familiarity. The third instruction is to listen more than you speak. When new doors open, the temptation is to explain, justify, or announce. But in this season, discernment must speak louder than excitement. Let wisdom become your language. Move in silence until God tells you to speak. The loudest victories are often born from quiet obedience. The fourth instruction is to prepare what you prayed for. Don't wait until the opportunity comes. To get ready, prepare now. Study what you must learn. Organize what you've neglected. Discipline what has grown lazy. God doesn't bless chaos. He blesses stewardship. Faith without structure becomes frustration. Align your habits with your hope. The fifth instruction is to release resentment. You cannot carry bitterness into breakthrough. Forgive the ones who counted you out. Not for them, but for you, because resentment contaminates revelation. The same hands that lift in worship cannot hold grudges. Let go of what hurt you, so your hands are free to receive what's next. The sixth instruction is to speak life continually. Your words are seeds. The atmosphere listens when you talk. Speak as if you believe the prophecy is already unfolding, because it is. Declare, I am counted in, even when you don't yet see it. Heaven responds to faith, not fear. The seventh instruction is to stay consistent. Favor may come suddenly, but preparation is built daily. Keep showing up. Keep praying. Keep creating. Keep sowing. Consistency is the bridge between prophecy and manifestation. Every small act of faith is building momentum toward your miracle. And finally, do not chase validation, chase alignment. When you are counted in by heaven, human applause becomes irrelevant. The stage may be large, but the assignment is sacred. God didn't call you to impress. He called you to impact. Your worth was settled the moment He chose you, not when they noticed you. There's an urgency in the spirit, not of panic, but of purpose. God is saying, prepare like it's already here, because soon it will be. You won't have time to get ready. You'll have to be ready. So rise early. Pray deeply. Speak intentionally. Work quietly. And walk boldly. The next moves you make will not be random. They will be prophetic. And when the world asks how it all happened so suddenly, you'll know the truth. It wasn't sudden. It was sacred. Every hidden season, every quiet prayer, every test of faith led to this moment. You are being positioned by divine hands. Follow the instructions, and the fulfillment will follow you. Even as the weight of transition presses around you, there is something you must remember. You are not walking into this new season unguarded. Heaven surrounds what heaven sends. The same God who called you will cover you. There is a hedge forming around your destiny, invisible, yet unbreakable. You may not always feel it, but divine protection is not based on feeling, it's based on covenant. You were never meant to fight this battle alone. Angels have been assigned to your name long before the warfare even began. When you rest, they stand watch. When you move, they go before you. When you pray, they strengthen your spirit. God has positioned His presence around your life like a shield, not only to protect you from what's visible, but to guard you from what's unseen. You might notice moments where disaster should have struck, but didn't. Times where something told you to pause before leaving to wait, before calling to stop, before deciding. That was divine interception. Heaven's unseen hand guiding you around traps the enemy hoped you wouldn't notice. And here's the mystery: divine protection often looks like divine prevention. The things you thought you missed out on were actually mercies in disguise. The people who walked away weren't just leaving, they were being removed for your safety. God never subtracts without the intention to secure. Even now, as your name rises and visibility increases, so does your covering. The mantle that rests on you carries built-in protection. The oil of calling comes with a firewall of grace. You may be surrounded by noise, but none of it can touch what heaven has sealed. The enemy can observe you, but he cannot overtake you. He can form the weapon, but he cannot make it prosper. He can speak your name, but he cannot rewrite what God has written. So walk without fear. You are stepping into new spaces, yes, but you're also stepping beneath new levels of angelic reinforcement. Every attack that comes against your mind will be met with divine peace. Every plot against your progress will dissolve before it finds you. When you feel anxiety rising, whisper this truth: I am covered. When confusion tries to cloud your vision, say God goes before me. When isolation tries to convince you that you're unprotected, declare I am surrounded. There's no step you'll take that God hasn't already gone ahead of. There's no word spoken against you that won't crumble under divine judgment. There's no darkness deep enough to swallow the light that lives within you. So rest not because the journey is easy, but because the covering is guaranteed. You are safe. You are seen. And you are sealed by the one who counted you in. Something inside you is awakening something that was buried under years of silence, rejection, and delay. You can feel it stirring, can't you? That quiet confidence rising where fear used to live. That steady peace replacing panic. That deep knowing that says, I'm not who I used to be. This is the transformation heaven promised. The moment where everything that once broke you becomes the very evidence of your becoming. You are walking into fulfillment, not as the same version of yourself that suffered, but as the refined, renewed, resurrected version that those trials were shaping all along. Look at you now, wiser, softer, stronger. You've learned how to hear the whispers of God, even in chaos. You've discovered that peace is not the absence of war, it's the presence of faith. You've learned to walk through storms without losing your praise, and to stand alone without losing your purpose. This is what divine transformation looks like. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's steady, like dawn breaking over a long night. And soon those who once counted you out will look again and say, surely the hand of God is upon them, because there will be no other explanation for the way everything turns. Doors will open that you never knocked on. People will bless you who never even knew your name. Resources will appear that no logic can account for. And you, yes, you will stand in awe, realizing that what once felt like delay was divine choreography. You will see why the pain had to come first, because pain prepared your capacity for purpose. You will understand why isolation was necessary, because God needed to build intimacy before influence. You will realize why you were hidden, because light revealed too soon burns out before its time. Now, you are ready to be seen without losing your soul, ready to lead without needing applause, ready to shine without competing. And when fulfillment comes, it won't just bless you, it will ripple outward. Those connected to you will begin to rise. Your obedience will unlock doors for generations after you. That's how heaven works. It never blesses in isolation. It blesses through inheritance. This is your divine unveiling. The old version of you, the one who doubted, feared, questioned, has been laid to rest. The ashes of that season have given birth to a new flame. And this flame cannot be dimmed because it was lit by God Himself. Now you carry a quiet authority. You don't need to announce it. It speaks through your presence. You walk into rooms differently now, not seeking validation, but carrying revelation. You don't chase what you've already been chosen for. You attract what's aligned with your calling. The storm didn't destroy you, it refined your sound. The silence didn't silence you, it deepened your discernment. The rejection didn't ruin you, it reintroduced you to yourself. This is the moment heaven had in mind all along, the prophecy fulfilled, the tables turned, the light restored, the purpose revealed. And as you step into this new chapter, don't look back in regret. Look back in reverence, because everything that hurt you helped you. What's coming now isn't payback, it's placement. You're not just being rewarded, you're being positioned. God is not restoring you to where you were, He's launching you into where you were always meant to be. And when you stand there in the fullness of the promise, you'll finally see it clearly. They didn't count you out by mistake. God used their counting to prove that His count was the only one that mattered. You were never disqualified. You were destined. Take a deep breath. Feel the stillness around you that peace is not emptiness, it's evidence. The shift has already begun. The word has gone forth, and what God has spoken cannot return void. You are no longer standing in the shadows of who you were. You are walking in the light of who you were always meant to be. Every rejection, every delay, every quiet night has led you here to this divine moment of recognition. You are counted in. You are chosen. You are covered. And you are ready. Now seal this truth with your voice. Speak it, feel it, claim it. Affirmation 1. What God has for me cannot be denied. I walk in divine alignment. Affirmation 2. Rejection was redirection. I am exactly where I'm meant to be. Affirmation 3. Heaven counts me in, and no one can count me out. Affirmation 4. I move forward with peace, power, and purpose. Repeat them until your spirit believes them. These are not just words. They are spiritual codes, frequencies that call heaven's promises into motion. As this message settles in your soul, may you feel the warmth of divine assurance wrapping around you like light. The same hands that shaped your beginning are guiding your next steps. Nothing has been wasted. Every delay was design. Every loss was a lesson. Every valley was a classroom for glory. Lift your head. Straighten your shoulders. You carry royal breath in your lungs. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," now whispers, "Let there be you." You've been through the breaking, now comes the building. You've been through the wilderness, now comes the wonder. You've been through the silence, now comes the song. Let this word echo through your days. God is not done. God is not late. God is not distant. He's here counting you and writing your name into the chapters of divine restoration. So walk forward with expectation. Stand tall in your calling. Speak boldly with authority. And rest deeply in His timing. Because the prophecy has been sealed, the blessing has been spoken, and the light of heaven now surrounds your path. May favor locate you. May peace sustain you. May your steps be guided, your heart guarded, and your destiny glorified. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are counted in by God, for God, and through God. It is done. Amen.